Previously on Flames and Frost. Trapped in a cave with patrols sealing the entrance, Asha, Frost and Cinder faced impossible odds. But Cinder's gift, his ability to map temperatures through stone, guided them through passages no one else could navigate. They escaped, but not unscathed. In the narrow cut of the ravine, both Asha and Frost damaged their wings on stone. Every beat of the air burned, every lift threatened to fail. But the exile stream was already moving, and anything that couldn't fly would be left for the net. So they flew because they had to. Safety in numbers, danger in being seen. The same choice, wearing different faces. Now, surrounded by hundreds of fire and ice dragons, all of them hunted, all of them afraid, the family moves north. But in a crowd this large, secrets don't stay hidden for long. Episode 3. The Secret. The stream moved like a wounded animal, slow, wary, flinching at every sound. 1,000 wings, and no one felt safe. Asha kept Cinder pressed between herself and Frost, their bodies forming a wall against curious eyes. Around them, fire and ice dragons moved in uneasy proximity. Not enemies, but old rivals with a long memory, forced closer than comfort allowed. No one spoke above a whisper. No one flew higher than necessary. The patrol calls echoed overhead like thunder that never stopped rolling. And every dragon in the stream knew what those calls meant. Keep moving, or be moved.
There are so many heat signatures. It's loud. Like everyone's shouting at once.
I know, little one. Try to focus on just us. Just our warmth. Block out the rest.
Cinder squeezed his eyes shut, concentrating. His gift had saved them in the cave, but here, surrounded by bodies, it was overwhelming. A cacophony of thermal noise that made his head pound. Frost moved closer, his cold presence cutting through the heat like a blade.
Feel that? The cold. Let it be your anchor. Everything else is just weather.
Cinder's breathing slowed. The thermal noise faded to a murmur. He opened his eyes and nodded.
Thanks, Dad.
A patrol call rang out. The ring call, one long note followed by two short. The stream compressed instinctively, bodies pressing closer, wings folding tighter. Somewhere behind them, a hatchling whimpered. Asha felt Cinder tense against her side. She pressed her wing down gently, a reminder. Breathe. Stay calm. Don't let the fear show. The call faded. The stream loosened just slightly, and they kept moving. Years ago, before the patrols, before the exile, before any of this, Asha and Frost had made a choice. They'd been meeting in secret for months by then. Stolen moments in the borderlands where fire met frost. Conversations that started as curiosity and became something deeper, something dangerous. The night they decided, they were lying in a hidden valley, Asha's warmth and Frost's cold creating a pocket of perfect temperate air between them.
If we do this, if we have a child, there's no going back. You know that.
I know.
They'll call it an abomination. They'll hunt us, hunt our child. Everything we've ever known, our clans, our territories, our names, we lose all of it.
Asha, I know.
Then why? Why risk everything for something that might not even survive?
Frost was quiet for a long moment. When he spoke, his voice was steady.
Because if we wait for permission, we'll never live. We'll just exist. Following rules we didn't make, fearing things that haven't happened, dying slowly while pretending we're safe.
He turned to face her, his ice-blue eyes reflecting her inner fire.
I don't want to exist, Asha. I want to live with you, whatever that costs.
And if our child suffers for our choice?
Then we make sure he knows why we chose it. We raise him to understand that some things are worth suffering for, that love isn't a crime, no matter what the council decrees.
Asha closed her eyes. She thought of her clan, her territory, the life she'd always known. Then she thought of the life she could have, the life they could create together.
So you think we'll have a boy, huh?
Well, I can always dream. But whatever it is, it will be loved.
It wasn't romantic. It wasn't a fairy tale. It was two dragons looking at an impossible future and choosing it anyway. Not because they were brave, but because the alternative was unbearable. We chose each other on purpose. That was what they'd tell Cinder years later when he was old enough to understand. We knew what it would cost, and we chose it anyway. The stream reached a narrow canyon where the walls provided shelter from patrol eyes. Here, the pace slowed. Dragons landed to rest injured wings, to comfort frightened hatchlings, to simply breathe. A lone dragon approached them, a jade dragon, her green scales dull with exhaustion, her eyes darting constantly toward the sky.
You're injured, both of you. I have some skill with wounds, if you'll allow me.
Asha hesitated. Jade dragons were healers by nature, but this one wasn't supposed to be here. The exile targeted fire and ice, not jade.
Your kind wasn't exiled. So why are you here?
The jade dragon, Mira, she said her name was, glanced away.
My friend was an ice dragon. He didn't survive the first sweep.
The words hung in the air. Asha felt something twist in her chest.
I'm sorry.
They told me to stay in my territory, to let the patrols handle it. But I watched my friend die, so I left anyway. I'm not letting more dragons vanish while everyone calls a duty.
She gestured toward Frost's wing, her movements careful, professional.
The membrane is torn but not shredded. I can stabilize it. It won't heal fully without rest, but it'll hold for flight if you need it.
Frost nodded, extending his wing. Mira worked quickly, her claws gentle despite their sharpness. As she worked, her eyes kept drifting to Cinder, who was pressed against Asha's side, trying to make himself small.
Your hatchling is quiet. Most of them can't stop crying.
He's tired. We all are.
His coloring is quite unusual. Gray scales with that shimmer. I've never seen markings quite like that.
Asha's heart stopped. She felt Frost go rigid beside her.
That's his father's side. Quite an unusual bloodline.
Mira said nothing, but her claws paused, just for a moment, on Frost's wing. And when she looked up, her eyes held something that might have been understanding, or might have been fear.
The patrols are looking for something specific. Did you know that? Not just fire and ice. Something else.
The air between them crystallized. Asha's claws dug into the stone.
We should go. Thank you for all your help.
Wait, please don't go. I would never.
She stopped, swallowed. When she spoke again, her voice was barely audible.
My friend and I talked about what it would be like if we could have children. We knew it wasn't possible, but we dreamed about it anyway.
She looked at Cinder, really looked at him, and something in her expression cracked.
I would never betray what we dreamed of. Never.
Asha stared at her for a long moment. Then, slowly, she nodded.
Thank you, Mira.
The jade dragon finished her work on Frost's wing and moved to Asha's. Her touch was gentle. Her silence was a gift. But outside the canyon, the patrol calls were shifting. The ring call gave way to the shift call. 2 long notes, 1 short. The corridor was tightening, and somewhere in the stream, fear was making decisions that kindness couldn't stop. Cinder had learned to control his gift in the months before the exile. Asha and Frost had taught him, patiently, carefully, with the desperate focus of parents who knew their child's survival depended on it. The first time it happened, he'd been barely a year old. A loud noise, thunder or maybe a rock fall, had startled him, and his breath had come out wrong. Not fire, not frost. Something in between. A tiny puff of steam, edged with ember glow and rime crackle. It had lasted less than a second, but it had been enough.
It's okay, little one. It's okay. You didn't do anything wrong.
But her eyes had met Frost's over Cinder's head, and they'd both known. This was the thing that could kill them all. They'd practiced. Every day, breathing exercises, calming techniques, ways to redirect the fear before it reached his breath.
Feel the cold. Let it settle in your chest. The cold doesn't panic. The cold just waits.
And when the cold is steady, let the warmth wrap around it. Not fighting, just holding. Like we hold you.
Cinder had learned. Slowly, imperfectly, but he'd learned. Calm meant control. Fear meant visible. It was a terrible lesson for a child to carry, but it was the only lesson that mattered. The stream began moving again. Mira stayed close, not intrusively, but present, a buffer between the family and curious eyes. But not everyone in the stream was as kind as Mira. An older fire dragon had been watching them. Asha had noticed him earlier, the way his eyes lingered too long on Cinder, the way he kept repositioning himself to get a better angle. Now he was closer, too close.
That's an unusual hatchling you've got there.
Asha's wings flared instinctively, blocking his view.
He's tired. We all are. Move along.
I've seen a lot of hatchlings in this stream. Fire hatchlings, ice hatchlings. None of them look like that.
You should listen to my mate. Move along.
The fire dragon's eyes narrowed. He was bigger than Frost, uninjured, and afraid. The kind of afraid that makes dragons do stupid, cruel things.
The patrols are hunting something. Something that shouldn't exist. And you two, fire and ice, traveling together with a hatchling that doesn't look like either.
Enough! Mira stepped between them, her healer's authority cutting through the tension.
I chose to be here because I watched what the Council's decision did to good dragons. And I'm done pretending it's justice. So if you want to tear each other apart, the patrols will be happy to watch. Is that what you want?
The fire dragon hesitated. Around them, other dragons had stopped to watch, some curious, some hostile, some simply exhausted.
I'm just saying, if there's something in this stream that's drawing extra attention, we all pay the price.
He moved away, but his eyes stayed on Cinder. And Asha knew, with the cold certainty of a mother's instinct, that this wasn't over. The canyon opened onto a wide plateau. Here the streams spread out, dragons finding space to breathe, to rest, to pretend for a moment that they weren't being herded like prey. Mira guided them to a sheltered spot near the plateau's edge, where a rock overhang provided cover from aerial observation.
You can rest here. I keep watch for a while.
Why are you helping us?
You don't even know us.
Mira was quiet for a moment. When she spoke, her voice was distant.
Because my friend would have. Because helping is the only thing that makes any of this bearable.
She looked at Cinder, who had finally fallen into an exhausted sleep against Asha's side.
Because when I look at him, I see the possibility and what our child might have looked like. I can't save the future I lost, but maybe I can help save yours.
Asha felt tears prick at her eyes. She blinked them away.
Thank you, Mira.
Mira nodded and moved to the edge of the overhang, her eyes scanning the sky. For a moment, just a moment, Asha let herself believe they might actually make it. The patrol calls changed. It happened fast, the ring call shifting to something more urgent, more focused. 3 sharp notes. The confirm call. Mira's head snapped up.
They found something, or someone. We need to move.
But it was already too late. The fire dragon from before, the suspicious one, was standing at the edge of the plateau, his wings raised in a signal. And above him, patrol shadows were descending.
Over here! The hybrid is this way!
The stream erupted into chaos. Dragons scattered in every direction, some fleeing, some freezing, some turning to look at the family with dawning horror. The patrol calls multiplied, overlapping, creating a wall of sound that pressed down from every direction. Cinder woke with a gasp. His eyes went wide, his breath hitched, and the steam shimmer bloomed around him like a halo, bright and unmistakable in the chaos.
Run!
They ran, Frost first, ignoring the pain in his wing. Asha behind him, Cinder clutched against her chest. Mira flanking them, her smaller body weaving through the panicked crowd. But the patrols were faster. They dropped from the sky like stones, cutting off escape routes, herding the family toward the plateau's edge. Cinder's fear spiked, the shimmer intensified, steam and ember and rime crackling around him in waves that he couldn't control.
I can't stop it. Mom, I can't.
It's okay. It's okay, just hold on to me. A patrol dove toward them. Frost spun, releasing a blast of frost that forced the attacker to veer away. But the movement tore something in his injured wing, and he stumbled, nearly falling.
Keep going. Don't stop.
They reached the plateau's edge. Below, a steep drop into fog and broken stone. Behind, patrols closing in. All around, chaos and screaming, and the thunder of wings. Mira grabbed Asha's arm.
There's a gap in the rock face. It leads down. I've seen dragons use it before. Now go!
Mira, please, come with us.
No. I try and slow them down. Go, now!
She didn't wait for an answer. She turned and launched herself toward the nearest patrol, her healer's claws finding vulnerable points with surprising precision. Asha didn't look back. She grabbed Cinder and dove into the gap, Frost right behind her. The rock swallowed them. Darkness closed in. And above, Mira's defiant roar was cut short by the sound of impact. The gap became a chute. The chute became a tumble. Stone scraped against scales, fog filled lungs, and then they were falling. Asha spread her injured wing, screaming at the pain, trying to slow their descent. Frost did the same, his torn membrane catching air in ragged bursts. They hit the ground hard. Not fatal, but close. Asha lay in the fog, gasping. Cinder still clutched against her chest. Beside her, Frost groaned, trying to rise.
Cinder? Cinder, are you?
I'm okay. I'm okay, Mom. But he wasn't okay. None of them were. They were injured, exposed, separated from the stream. and the patrols knew exactly what they were looking for now. Above them, the confirm call echoed again. 3 sharp notes bouncing off stone, multiplying in the fog. And then, a new sound. A sound that made Asha's blood freeze. Wings, descending. Not one patrol, many.
They're coming. We have to move.
They forced themselves up, and together, broken, bleeding, and terrified, they disappeared into the fog. Behind them, the plateau burned with patrol fire, the streams scattered to the winds, and somewhere in the chaos, a jade dragon, who had dreamed of a child she'd never have, lay still on the stone, her sacrifice already forgotten by everyone except the family she'd saved. The fog swallowed Asha, Frost, and Cinder whole. For a moment, there was only the sound of their breathing, ragged, desperate, alive. Then Cinder's voice, small and broken in the darkness.
It's my fault. She died because of me. Because I couldn't.
No, she died because she chose to. Because she believed you were worth saving. Don't make her sacrifice mean less by blaming yourself.
Cinder was silent, but Asha could feel him shaking against her, not from cold, not from fear, but from something worse. The weight of being the reason someone else stopped breathing. It was a weight no child should carry, but Cinder would carry it anyway, because that was the cost of being something the world had decided shouldn't exist.
We keep moving. We find the boundary. We get out.
Together.
Always.
The fog shifted around them. Somewhere ahead, the boundary waited. Somewhere behind, the patrols regrouped. And somewhere in between, a family held onto each other and refused to let go. The secret was out. The hunt had a face, and the only way forward was through. Will Asha, Frost, and Cinder reach the boundary before the patrols close in? What awaits them beyond the realm they once called home? And can a family forged in defiance survive a world determined to destroy them? Find out in the next episode of Flames and Frost.